Hi everyone, my name is Patrick Fuzzarini and I'm with the k-ecommerce team. I just want to start by giving a quick thank you to the ISV Society and of course Amy for always working so well with us. So thank you for that. Today's presentation is going to be a quick one, but we're going to go over the k-ecommerce platform in a nutshell, primarily talking about the integration directly to Acumatica and then bleeding into the business-to-business functionality and B2C functionality that we have. So jumping right into it, we have this demo store that we have set up within the system, and it is connected to Acumatica. Now, the design or the look and feel of this web store is totally up to our merchants to play with. And what I mean by that is the overall color scheme, the banners that you see, the logo, of course, and different menu items and so on are all controlled using our content management system to make it easy for you and your team to make a website that properly reflects your company's branding. The platform is designed for both business to consumer applications as well as B2B applications. So you can see here that I'm not currently logged in as anybody, but yet I can see my shopping cart. I can purchase items, see a retail price and do all your typical retail shopping. But because of our integration with Acumatica that's so tightly done and touches so many different fields within Acumatica, the business-to-business side of our application really tends to flourish. And I'll be going over many of the different components that you might typically see in that interaction. For example, if we jump into Acumatica off the bat, we're going to be in our items. And our item integration, goes without saying, is very important in the overall structure. So for example, if I open up one of these products, you're going to see some product detail related that we'll soon see in Acumatica in the k-ecommerce website. So things like item classes and attributes are synced over. Warehousing information, pricing details that we see here, an MSRP has been set up, and your typical fields for item data. But of course, it goes much deeper. And given the B2B structure, it's important to also incorporate customer-specific pricing that might be set up within Acumatica so that any customers that want to shop online that have specific pricing with you will see those properly reflected. And the list goes on in terms of general integration points and details. So now if I jump back to the k-ecommerce website and I go, for example, to one of our categories, you're going to see those items listed on the screen here. Now these item attributes and item classes will be listed down the left-hand side if they exist in Acumatica. And you'll see the items, of course, where customers can click on them, see further details, add them to cart, do your typical shopping as they might need to. Now, because this is an environment where we'd like to go into a little bit more detail for today's presentation, I'm going to actually log in and pretend that I'm an existing customer. So instead of placing an order as a guest, I would start my journey off maybe by signing in. And pretty typical is putting your username and password where you can let your customers or the other businesses that need to gain access have their own email addresses set up. It replicates the customer and contact information within Acumatica to make it pretty easy to have every single user within that organization have their own access rights. So in this example, we're going to use our test customer and sign in. Now, naturally, if you want any new users to register within the site on the spot, they have access to create an account. Now, once I log in, we'll be greeted with some of the important information related to my account. Things like the latest orders that were placed. You can see here I'm a pretty typical buyer. I like to buy the same thing over and over again. You'll also see frequently ordered products within the listing. So these are items that myself as an organization or as a business, I like to buy on quite frequently. And so they're listed here for me to avoid having to search for every single one of these items every week. So just like that, I can easily click on the Add to Cart button, and just like that, it's in the shopping cart. You can see down the right-hand side. And of course, we can continue on, right? So viewing past orders, viewing categories of products that are all coming from Acumatica once again. But for today, I'm going to go into a previous order, into the order history, and view some past information. Again, because of that tight integration with Acumatica, we have access to see all of the account information related to myself as a business. So that doesn't just reflect orders that I might have created online, but this really does represent any and all orders that exist within Acumatica itself. Doesn't matter how it got there, we have access to see it here online. And so this tool becomes very much a self-service application where I don't have to call in to see any of these details anymore. I don't have to ask for emails or search through, email PDFs of invoices that came. So with all that, I can search for my sales documents, be it orders or invoices. And when I find the one that I'm looking for, all I have to do is select it, and all of those details will follow. We'll see things like the Acumatica order number, web order information, the order status, and so on. Now, this order status is going to be extremely important. As that order goes from a sales order to an invoice within Acumatica, as we add a tracking number to that order, everything will be reflected online as they occur. So people, again, visiting this system will gain full visibility into where their orders are, what the tracking information might be, and they can even click on a button to track their order once that is into the system. From there, we see your typical order information, of course, and at any point in time, as we might have guessed, as that order updates within Acumatica, the results will follow here, right? So if I change an item in the order, maybe a quantity, or maybe I just remove an item entirely or add one, those will be reflected here as they should. Now, if I'm the type of customer who likes to order the same thing again, with one click, I can create that shopping cart over again. And then within a few seconds, that order will be created in a new cart, and I will have access to see those items, see what's available, see what's out of stock, if any of them are, such as these ones, and move on forward. So with the system, naturally, the inventory is something that is collected through the Acumatica integration. So if you're looking to accept back orders, as we have done here in our test environment, most of these items are in back order, we can. If we want to disable the ability to order anything that there is no inventory for, that can be done. Or we can just enable it and not even show things like backorder availability, just let everybody order as they so choose. So all these options are dependent on what you might want to do as a business, and every business can be different. Now, this is one great way to place an order online. If I want to edit this order, it's pretty easy. You just remove the items, you change the quantities, and update, and so on. And the final way that I'll talk about here today to create an order is pretty popular in the B2B space. It's not necessarily a tool that will be used by retail customers, but it can prove to be extremely useful in certain use cases. That mainly being either an internal employee wants to place an order on behalf of a customer, or the customer is one that likes to place long lists of orders online. So what I mean by that is, let's say you have a customer that orders, 10, 20, 30, 100 line items even. They can use this system quite effectively to import an order sheet into it rather than having to search for each item one by one and then adding them to the cart. And so that feature is what we call the quick order tool. If I open it up, you're going to see what essentially reflects my shopping cart in a nutshell. You can see here I've got my quantity, my 7 items listed from the cart in sort of a list view. With this tool, I have access to, at any point in time, view the product information. So I can see here that I ordered a computer here that has a few different kit components within it. And we can see that breakdown one by one, as well as the total price. We see the quantity available. In this case, we're displaying that there's more than 10. And we can remove that if we so choose. Or we can even pin it if we prefer, like this. All that to say is that this quick order tool becomes a working panel for anybody who might want to build their order. So let's say I'm the type of customer who knows my code, or I have a barcode scanner and I'm walking through my store and I want to replenish my inventory. I can scan my barcodes, and just like that, the items will be added to the cart in one shot. If I don't know necessarily the codes that I'm looking to purchase from, all I have to do is search for something. So let's say I search for a laptop. We'll get this left-hand search panel, which reflects all of these search results for that keyword search. And just like that, I can add, let's say, one of these computers. Let's go with this one to the cart. You see it's there in one click. Now I can continue to do this as much as might be needed here. But let's say, for example, whoops, there's a warning on this item, so I'll just remove it from the cart. If, for example, I had a previously used list, so this might reflect, an order form that was sent in via email, via Excel. Maybe a customer of yours calls over the phone and places an order with you one by one. All that's required is that we have the item codes and quantities in this sort of Excel or CSV format. What I've often seen is that our merchants or our customers will create this order form for their customers. They'll add the item titles here. They'll add the item codes in the second column. And then they'll put the quantities of 0, as you kind of seen. I've done a few of them. So this will all say 0. And they'll say, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, feel free to add the quantity that you might need. And then all you have to do is copy these two cells that you see and paste them into the platform. And just like that, you're going to see a reflection of many items being added or removed and different errors that might be pulled up because of it. So you'll see here I've actually duplicated an order, and that's why we're getting so many errors. The order product is already in the order, so that tells me that I don't need to add it if I made a mistake. And then if I have a yellow icon, it means that the minimum order product quantity is 1, and I haven't put any in the system, so I'll have to do that. And by making those manipulations or those modifications, you see it's now in the cart clean as can be. So I'll remove a few of these items just to make sure that we can place this order. I could empty the cart as a whole if I wanted to, but let's, for the sake of the presentation here, we'll move forward. When I proceed to checkout, your typical order information pops up on the screen where we get our billing information listed for this customer. Because I'm an existing one, all of this information is already set in stone. But naturally, if we're a new customer, then we would put this type of data in. Any new customers that might place an order for the first time, once they do so, that customer record will be created in Acumatica as well, noting them as a new customer in the system. Now, there are two flavors of what we would consider business to consumer or retail checkout. The first one is what I just mentioned, where the customer record gets created. If you prefer not to do that, and you prefer to just have guest users check out on the fly, well, then you can group them all together in a sort of guest user customer account where they're basically buying as a one-time process. But as we move forward here with the order, we can add our shipping information, ship to new addresses if we want to, or see a pre-existing list of destinations used in the past. And then we get our shipping methods. Of course, you can see here that my shipping is quite expensive. This is primarily due to the ways that we can calculate shipping. Now, it varies. And you can control pretty much many different aspects of the shipping method calculation. Ultimately, we connect to a number of different carriers out there if you want to. So the FedExes of the world, UPS, USPS, and so on can all be used and connected to directly. That way we get the real rates from those carriers reflected in the system. If you don't want to use one of those carriers and you want to be a bit more broad, well, then you can do what I've done here, which is essentially take a percentage of the overall order. Now, you can take a fixed rate percentage of the overall order. You can create different thresholds, right? Saying that it won't go past, I don't know, $50 or something like that for different shipping methods. It's up to you to decide and calculate or play around with the calculations that are in use. As we move forward with the order, we can see what the final order will look like. And at this point, if there are any tax calculations that need to be done, we do support tax integrations up to a state level with Acumatica. If you want to go to more, or if you need, I should say, more in-depth tax calculations, that's really where we might leverage a third party such as an Avalara to help us out here and make sure all of those calculations are super accurate when you go down to the county level and beyond. Either way, customers have access to add coupon codes. Things like buy one, get one coupons or free shipping are all options. And then you get your payment information. Now, what's important on the payment side of things, as well as product information, as well as shipping information and pricing, is that these options can be dependent on each and every customer, meaning that different customers will have access to see different payment methods depending on who they are, right? Some customers have an on account or a net 30, others do not. So they'll have those options on the checkout page because we know who they are. And similarly, different customers can have access to different products. So one customer might be able to buy certain goods from you, and other customers wouldn't even see that on the platform and they wouldn't have access to purchase it. All of these things are configurable within the system to maximize that sort of business-to-business experience. Either way, I can accept my T's and C's or my return policy and confirm the order. Now at this point, lots is going on in the background, and I see we're coming close to time here, so I'll try and move forward without too much detail. But ultimately, in the background, two main things are happening, I would say. The first one is that order is created in Acumatica within seconds. So we'll actually see that order in the backend. And finally, emails are being sent out to those involved. So that's the customer, naturally, as well as the internal team, notifying them that a new order exists within the system. So we can see here that now, if we go into Acumatica, we'll have access to view what that sales order looks like in the system. And there's really one main highlight that I would like to do just on this short presentation. One main highlight that I'd like to make. You'll see the order number now exists within the system. This is what I placed today. There was 15 items for $5,800. And if I open that up, it exists in Acumatica the same way that any other order would exist within the system. Right? We're not changing the way the back office system works. We're not adding new fields, new windows, or differences to it. It's business as usual back here. The only real difference is that these items are going to be within the system extremely quickly and without errors because the customer made them happen. You'll see here the item information are all listed. There's a certain notification here that tells us the warehouse inventory for back ordering. You'll get your taxes if they apply, so they would be reflected, and your various other elements within the system as well. So on that note, again, I'd like to thank the entire team here for having us today. I know that was a really quick rundown of everything that we potentially could cover here within the system. If you are interested and you'd like to know more, we've been in the space for a really long time. So chances are we've seen most of the things that might come your way. So feel free to talk to us. Feel free to gain some insight into what we might know and see how we might be able to help you in the future. Thank you all very much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.